Yeah, it's a good show.
Here we go.
Here
Welcome,
we
welcome,
go.
welcome,
Welcome,
back.
welcome, welcome.
Hey, welcome to the Chefpreneur Show, where we talk everything personal chef business and the restaurant industry and food and culture and just whatever the hell we want to, because this is
Pretty
our show
much.
and we're here coming live at 5 every Wednesday. We like to have fun. We were just discussing some of the things that we would like to talk today about, and hope you guys have a moment to tune in because today will be great. We're going to be talking about foundations.
Yeah.
Foundations,
Foundations of
makeup,
your business.
makeup. We're gonna talk about makeup. Okay, some of the chefs. No, I'm just kidding.
I think our live stream right now has our old date on it. I don't know if we can change, but
I'm not
just in
sure.
case
Maybe
anybody,
not.
oh, we can edit it right there.
Yeah, cool. So, hey guys, listen. If you're new to us, let us introduce ourselves. Let me introduce you to the big man to my left and your right, Chef Andres Hinojosa.
Happy Wednesday. Hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in today. My name is Chef Andres
Marvelous introduction.
Hinojosa. Hinojosa.
Hinojosa.
I'm in a fun mood today. Hello.
It is. It's a good day today.
Hello, Danielle, my wife.
I hope
How
you guys are
doing,
all
sweetie?
having a good day as well. Yeah, I'm going to save that. Look at that. Saved.
There you go. Boom. Yeah, we just got to update that live.
Holy
so yeah, welcome.
crap! It's already May.
I know. And to my right,
it's Brock Wagner.
It's Brock Wagner right here, and we are here. Yeah. Ooh. I felt a little okay. Anyway, welcome to the show. For those of you guys that don't know, we do talk about everything chefpreneur. Starting a personal chef business is what we do and what we know and what we help you do. And we're just excited to be on this Wednesday. We want to apologize about last week. We had some audio issues that people were able to hear us, but it wasn't as crisp and as clean as we would like it to be.
Very low quality.
So, but we fixed that. I believe we fixed that, right? I think, Brock?
Yeah, it should be fixed. We kind of tested. Testing's always a good thing, guys.
Yep. You want to test. But yeah, thank you guys. This episode I'm really excited about, or this live I'm really excited about, because we're going to be talking about foundations. And it actually just brings the reason we're going to talk about this today is because of something that happened today. And processes and foundation and getting things set up are very important. And again, I use metaphors a lot. But before we dive into it, Brock, how you doing, man? How was your week? How was your day?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. What are some things that have happened this week? On the personal side, soccer coach season. I'm coach. I am coach. No, it was great. We had we actually did our little end of year or end of season celebration for the kids. So nice. I coach U10 soccer. It's for a wonderful organization called Upper 90, and it's all faith-based ran. It's really a mentorship program for these kids, and it's after school, and it's practice on Mondays, games on Saturdays.
Nice.
And we always have a Bible lesson that we go through, and then we apply it to the game of soccer. Well, we had our end of year season or end of season celebration, which was really great, and it was kind of moving. I'd never been that kind of coach, where it's actually coaching, a sport, and I've enjoyed it, and the kids are great. And they gave me a little coach wood sign.
Oh, cool.
And all the kids signed it. So I had my team sign it. It's at home, and I got a little really whistle. Nice. It's just really great. So yeah, it was really touching, really moving. And that was something that happened for me over the weekend. Some exciting news. I got some exciting news for Sue, for our Sue software. We've of course developed software that a lot of our chefpreneurs are using in order to manage all their clients and their events and send invoices. And it's come such a long ways this year. Well, we have a brand new update that's about to drop this week, hopefully tomorrow. So we tested it and it's all working, but here's the update. Here's what's really cool. Now with Sue, you can send your menus and get them approved. You can send the event details to team members, or you can send invoices to your clients, right? We had the preview feature come up where it actually shows you what the email content is and what it's going to send, because it uses our proven email templates that we use with standard language in there that goes to the clients. And we teach that in the coaching program. Well, now we've actually unlocked a feature where you can edit those emails before they send. So now you get our proven email templates for those things. When it comes up, you can edit that. And so you can personalize it. And a lot of you, let's put the personal back in personal chef. Let's make sure that it's personal. So
That's
when
true.
you're sending an
That's
invoice,
awesome.
you might want to recount on the invoice, hey, I had such a wonderful time. Like it was really fun when XYZ happened.
That's really cool.
Right. So it's very
and that's
specific.
live already, right? That's live.
It's going to be live tomorrow.
Oh,
so
live tomorrow.
The
awesome.
email preview, you can see the emails, but you can't edit them. The editing is going to be available hopefully tomorrow. So
Sweet.
I'm really excited for that.
That's an awesome update. Yep. Rebecca, Jennifer, again, Danielle, Chef Dan, welcome to the show. We're excited to have you guys on, and that's awesome. Now, I don't want to, I don't want to. I just thought it was funny. I want you to share a little bit about. You had a little bit of a assistant coach fiasco not too long ago, right?
A little bit.
Then he get so he basically got suspended.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was it was interesting. Even soccer at that level. He was trying to protect the kids.
Okay, these are under 10.
He's trying to protect the kids, but
his awesome though.
One of the kids he got hit in the chest pretty good.
Oh,
It was like it ended up swelling up a little bit. But him and the ref didn't really see eye to eye on some things, and he's kind of pointing it out, and there's just a little bit of drama going on there.
It reminds me of the movie
the old red card.
Yeah,
without the red card.
Without the red card. But the movie Kicking and Screaming, right? When they get it gets all intense, and then you have like Mike Ditka, I think, is on that movie, and it's like it's crazy. But
he always plays that character too, where he's just like
pretty much
out.
Himself, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Chairs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, on the personal side for me, we have a guest in our house right now, a brother from our church from Germany who's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's a pro tennis player. And so it's like I did yoga and stretching with him yesterday, and we had a call this morning.
Do you do yoga with the racket? Because I see a racket in your little area over there.
No, that's actually a racket that I think
hold it up and
that my grandmother got us for
one of those.
Christmas, and it's like an antique one, whatever. Whatever, but
from 1896,
pretty much. But no, Charlie is actually like he actually, and he also coaches on mindset and things like that. But man, I am out of shape when he stretched, like when we stretched and did some yoga, but it felt really good after. Like, you got a lot of the blood flowing. I'm not ashamed to say that I broke a sweat. He's like, no, like I break a sweat when he goes like an hour doing yoga, stretching, of course, yoga, but
it's work.
But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So yeah, he wants me to play tennis with him, and I love tennis, but I'm like, dude, he's like, no, I'll teach you. And I'm like, okay, well, here's where my status on tennis is at. Like
table tennis.
Well, if I can even just run to the ball in time, I think I'll be happy.
If the
like, forget about hitting it. Like, if I see the ball and I can run to it and touch it, like, I think I'll be okay. But
or if the person could just hit it straight to you, like.
Pretty much, but just not hit it like at me, but like to me. Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, no, anyway, so that's been kind of cool to have a guest. But he's a professional athlete, so it's pretty cool to talk about mentality, and we talk about things like that. And it's funny because as we were talking, it kind of segues into the foundational side of what we're going to talk to today about how important foundations are in business.
Yep.
And by foundations, right, I want to make a distinction between, in my personal opinion, between processes and foundations. I think there's probably other words for foundations too, but what we kind of look at as foundations is like really knowing what the business is all about, like really having the direction of what your business foundations are, meaning there's legal foundations, yes, but then there's really the business foundations of
everything the business is built from.
Correct. So it is that plan per se, but not, again, I hate using sometimes the word plan in this because people are, business plan. What we mean by that is, for anybody that is in the Chefpreneur, programs that we offer and that has been a student, that we're very much in tune with really figuring out your niche, right? Really figuring out your mission, who your ideal customer is. Those are what we mean by foundations, because without those, you really have nothing. And it's a building block. And as I was talking to Charlie as well about kind of his routine and the stretching every morning and things like that, it's like, I even asked him, like, hey, do you lift weights? And he's like, yeah, I lift weights more in the off season though, because you don't want to really bulk up and be sore while you're lifting weights when you're, going to a tournament, right? Because it's like, you got to play,
right?
But stretching and yoga really helps to loosen up the muscles. And then when he does warm-ups and stuff, and he was telling me, like, really being like a world-class athlete is not only just practicing, but it is very much about the foundations. And he was telling me when I was stretching down here and doing some of these yoga like, we didn't do a full yoga session. It was stretching, but also yoga. And he was telling me, like, these are the foundations of like an athlete, right? Like, when you really know how to stretch, as weird as it sounds, stretch properly, it's like you're 90% less likely to get hurt while you're exercising or while you're training or while you're practicing. So it always goes back to foundations. And we say, I want to talk a little bit about the Chefpreneur method for those of you guys that don't know it, and how we really walk people through that. And again, another reason of really why this topic is something that we wanted to possibly bring to you guys today was because we had somebody that was in our last 5-day challenge this last month, and they were talking to a member of our team today, and they were asking like, hey, can you guys help building my website, building my brand? I think they're getting some coaching from somewhere else as far as some personal chef coaching, but we had to tell our team member, like, we can help them, but not if they're not going through our process. We can't just take someone, quote unquote, I'm saying this, not that they live on the street, but taking them off the street by using that as like they're not in our program.
Right.
We can't just accept them and build their brand and their brand out and their website and all that, because, and I think you can really talk about this.
What are we building their brand based off of?
Exactly. And I think that what I really wanted you to touch on today was, because I say this a lot. I think we even said it in the 5-day challenge, but I said it on one of our group coaching calls this last week. I was telling my accelerator students, like, I was like, listen, we can go out and hire someone to build us out a website, and a pretty looking one. There's so much involved with different pieces. And I think that, again, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to serve you a steak dinner, and it's like just steak on a plate. Like, a lot of us are missing things. So we just contract somebody to build our website. They can probably build you a pretty website. They're going to ask you, what do you want on it? And you might not know what to put on it. So you're just going to start sending food pictures and whatever, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Majority of people that build websites, or designers, they don't do the copy, aka the words on the website. For those of you guys that don't know, copy, messaging, that's the words on a website. And that's more on the marketing side, right? But then even to market, you got to know the message. You got to know the foundations of the business. Who you're trying to attract, right? So even like a good person that's doing like a brand, and that's why even brands and design are different, because brand is all of it encompassing. It's the full recipe. Whereas in like just design is like the aesthetics, it's the design, and they need to go hand in hand. And so like we preach on this, that in our community, that as you go through the process, and like, for instance, Chef Dan that's on here, Chef Dan is one of our proteges. We went through a process with him where we really had to dig into what his niche was. We really had to dig into, okay, based upon your niche now, let's start to like carve out your potential or your like dream clients. And from there, again, we build it in building blocks. What's your mission, and what's this?
Who Chef Dan was.
Correct.
What does Chef Dan want to be known for?
Exactly.
What's the kind of brand that he's wanting to kind of build? Like and then we help to provide that aesthetic part of it to it.
Correct. Because we have to pull all that stuff out. Exactly. And then when you have your services and your pricing, that's all the foundations.
Yep.
But see, now we have this thing where we have this like, okay, then when we pass it to our designers look at bringing the brand to life based on the words that we wrote for them.
Yep.
So I'll use an example. Actually, one of our accelerator students, shout out to Marcia Foster, who's in our program. I was reviewing her sheet today, aka her business Bible, her business worksheet that we walk you through, so that you can really step by step in our program really go through it. And she's all about Jamaican cuisine, right? And so I was telling her she needs to go a little deeper, because I was looking at her foundations, and like her brainstorming session that I read was awesome. She put a lot of detail about her coming, her parents, where they're from, and like growing up in Jamaica, and it was really, really powerful. And then I got to some of the messaging, and again, she's just kind of, she was trying to, put it out there as best as she can. But when I coached her, there was a couple of things. It was like, savor the spice of Jamaican cuisine and things like that. And that's great. But then she came across a word. And again, this is why our process and why coaching is so important, because we've done this so many times, Brock. We've helped people really create those foundations, and really, again, the brain foundation, like really putting thought into like, what business am I trying to create? And she had a line on there that said, experience the rhythm.
I like that.
And it triggered me. I
Rhythm,
was like, man,
rhythm is very Jamaican
it
for
is.
some
And
reason.
and I said, wait a minute, like your tagline on your website should be like personal chef experiences that transports you or makes you feel like you're in the rhythm of the islands. Right now,
Ooh,
see
I like,
now,
oh, I really like
right?
that.
So
Yeah,
so I
rhythm of the
told her,
islands.
like, I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but like I literally did a couple of
Iterations.
iterations for her because she had something on her benefit tagline as we talk. And some of you guys, it's like that you're watching this, you're like, benefit tagline, what is this? But this is again part of our process on your website. But it's like she had a rhythm, and I'm like, man, I really love that. And I got actually fired up on our group coaching call, and I was actually talking to the other students about it. I'm like, see, that for me is like, see, that invokes an emotion, that message. Now someone's coming to her website, and and by the way, she lives in Jacksonville, Florida, so she's already in this kind of tropical environment, and it's like it matches up. Like you're vacationing, you're in Florida, you got palm trees, you got rain, and then you go, oh man, we should hire a personal chef, and then they go to a website and the colors and all that, but then you read in the rhythm of the islands, like that makes me feel like I want to be on vacation. Yep. Like you're transporting them, and then I can already imagine Chef Marcia with her accent showing up and just giving you this love of the islands in Jamaica. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. That's the power of the foundation. It starts with that. And then the brand is basically transferring that, right? What we foundationally set aside or like set up. And then the branding and the design is then to translate that as a visual, as to invoke emotion, right? So Brock has you have an amazing design talent, man. Like you are very gifted at that. But I want to ask you this on a personal level, because again, I think it's going to prove the point even more. And again, I didn't prep him before this. Brock, when you're thinking of a design, let's say any graphics you've come up with, man, you just do a phenomenal job. Like you really do. But like in your thought process, when you're designing something pretty, I kind of want to know, like, how much mental effort before you design do you put into that? Because I feel like, let me ask you this, like, because some designers like, let me make it look pretty.
Yeah.
But I feel like you, especially our director of design, like Lisa, she does an incredible job of like taking what we write, the foundations, and then transferring that and the whole overall feel. Like if you guys check out creativefeast.com, that's Chef Magdalise, creativefeast.com.
Awesome. Yeah.
She's from Puerto Rico. She's all about, tapas and things like that. If you go to her website, right? We built that website, but we built her brand very different. We built both together. It invokes what she's trying to put out there. Colorful colors on there, really invoking this freshness and this vibrancy of Latin flavors. Like it's gorgeous, and it transports you to that. So, but talk to me, Brock, like you probably do a lot of brain work before you even really like design and just put out pictures.
Yeah, you have to. You can go both. You can do it both ways. You can do it both ways. The problem with doing it the way where you're just trying to create something that's pretty and that you like, that you think is going to speak to your client or, for your business, because you have this general overarching idea, you can put something together that's really pretty. Here's the challenge with that is that even though you create the pretty, then you're doing all the effort after that to create the substance behind it, the actual personality. Like you're trying to match then your whole aspect of your business and your personality, how you run it, the culture of your business, to then that brand.
Yeah.
And that becomes a problem because that can be very disconnected. Whereas if you start how we start, where you start with the chef, you deep dive into what it is that they enjoy, what they want to be known for, the types of food and cuisines that they cook, why they want to serve their clients in a particular way or creating a particular environment. That's the sustenance behind that.
Yeah.
That is the inside of the cake, right? And then you're putting the frosting on it, which is the pretty outside.
Correct.
You can have a great frosting on the outside of a cake, and the cake looks beautiful. And then you cut into it, and it's just this dry, crumbly, and it's not good. And you're like,
there's a lot of brands like that. There is actually a lot of brands.
There's a lot of brands like that. They make the mistake that they go full force into how do I want the brand to look and be portrayed?
Yeah.
Rather than how do I want my business to actually feel and to our clients and to be perceived when they're actually interacting with us, not just looking at us.
Correct.
Right. And then you build the whole shell around it that is also beautiful. That together is the combination. It's really hard to fail at that point unless you really just were not honest as far as like you really have a love for serving people. You say that you do, and then you turn around and your actions actually speak differently. Like that's the only way that you can really mess that up.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so easy once you get that the core foundations like we talked about in place, then you can go out and you can design, because then it makes it easy. And here's the other mistake that I see people making. And chefs don't realize this because they're not designers. Like chefs by nature, it's you're cooking food. They're designers in the aspect of food, but a lot of times not in the aspect of like creating a visual brand. So they have to hire somebody, they have to find somebody to do that. Here's the struggle with that is that when you don't know branding, you think logo. Here's my logo. Here's the one. My God, here's the one. True. The one that logo.
So true.
But they don't consider, well, how versatile have you made your logo, right? Yeah. So like for us, we want to build a brand that has the branding elements, right? The look and the feel of it with the logo and the colors and the fonts is very versatile to where the chef can take it and they can do brochures with it using this variation. They can use a background that's got, a nice repeated logo mark.
Yeah.
Right.
Or icon.
Right. Yep. Like Apple is Apple. Well, you recognize Apple by just the apple.
Correct.
Right? But Apple has a name. Yeah. Apple has a name. So it's Apple and then the word Apple. Or McDonald's can be recognized by the arches, but the full logo is McDonald's.
Correct.
But then you only see the arch on certain elements of product.
Yeah, on their hats, on everything, on their branding. It's very powerful.
We want that brand to be versatile.
Yeah.
But you really only find that versatility in creating like a logo mark, for them in understanding what it is they're trying to do. So like you mentioned Chef Meg DeLise, right? In Creative Feasts.
Yep.
Her logo is versatile because she's got the whole Creative Feast, but then you can actually pull the elements out of that logo and you can use that in different aspects on brochures, business cards, backgrounds of her website or online content,
social media,
all that. Like all of it, you can pick it apart.
And I love how you said that.
People start to recognize it based on just the color and the logo.
Correct. And because it's invoking something. And that's the thing, like the website, like there's a couple big nuggets here that you guys need to write down. Like if you're building out your brand and your website, the message, the copy, the words on your website are much more important than anything else, because that is really what's going to translate a message, because that is a direct message.
Correct.
All your images, all your colors, all your branding, all your logo is to enhance that message. But in order to create a message that's on your website, again, that's where we help you in our process, in our 4 pillars, and through our, like what we call our pillar 1, our launch pad. It's a foundation. We can't build a house, right? You can't build a successful world-class business by just starting with the roof. That makes no sense, right? Imagine if you went out and bought a plot of land and you're like, I'm going to go out and I'm just going to start building a roof, and then I'm going to sit under the roof on this grassy knoll in a beach chair. Like, people are going to drive by and probably call the police that you're insane. Okay. Like, nobody builds a house that way, because that's not how you build a house, right? You have to push the dirt. You have to dig usually down, whether it's a basement or not. You still got to have piping. You got to do all this stuff, build that solid concrete foundation, brick, whatever. Then you start building out the rest of the house, the framing, the whole thing. Then you get down, and like Brock said, you then basically the not the shell, but like the outside, the appearance of it is like, okay, well, now you start putting paint after you put the siding on, but after you put the drywall on, after you put the framing and the studs in. So it's a process in a business the same way. If anything that you guys are going to take away from even this show, it's like, you guys have to understand the foundations of your business are so freaking important. And if you're confusing people, I'll just say that you're losing them. And what we mean by that is, like, if your brand is all over the place, right? Like, you serve, I've seen this before. It'll talk about like healthy cuisine, and like we serve like, we want to give people whatever, plant-based, whatever. And then your website is like a picture of a building and then just weird thing. Like, none of it matches up. But the message, again, the copy, the message is so important. And then it really guides you, like Brock said, it guides you with everything else, because we have to do that first. So again, when when this potential, and I hope they're going to come, and we'd love to help her. My team member didn't really let me know her name at the time, but as he was talking to her and she's getting coaching, like, I'm not saying anything about the coaching, but we would love to help her build her brand, but we would have to take her through our own process first, because I'm not trying to scare you guys, right? I don't want to try to scare you guys.
That's the thing that I wanted to also
kind of touch
emphasize
on
is that, well, as part of foundations, a lot of chefs, you guys end up going maybe consciously, but mostly subconsciously, is like, man, that's a lot of work. That's going to take so much time. It really doesn't. It doesn't take that much time. You can get through it pretty quickly if you have the plan in front of you, right? And okay, based on like our process, we get that. Honestly, we go through and we build a whole foundation for a business and practically the whole branding in 6 hours.
Yeah,
from scratch.
From scratch.
A chef will come to us,
correct,
and we'll sit in a room with them.
Yep. Actually, it's happening next Friday.
And
with
we have
Chef
one
Diego,
next Friday. Yep. And
flying out from DC.
They will have no business whatsoever, right? It reminds me of kind of like Jeff and Gail. I mean, they were doing some things on the side for like friends and church, but they didn't have anything really. They were cooking for people, but they didn't have anything as part of the business. And we created a whole entire brand that they can now be proud of, that really aligns with them, aligns with their values and what they're doing and what they want to be providing to certain clientele. You can do that. And that's 6 hours it takes us. Now we're experienced with that, but
we're experts,
but we do it really quickly. But even for you, like what is 3 weeks, honestly, and the whole span of owning your business and having a business that is meant to be real, not a part-time thing, because we're not into helping you build a part-time business. We want you to build a real business that is sustainable, everlasting, will last for years and years, that you honestly, you can pass down to your kids if you even wanted to.
Yep.
That's the kind of business we're looking to build. Now, what is 3 weeks compared to a business that stands for 20 years? It's nothing.
It's nothing.
So if you take the time to do that,
exactly,
you set yourself up.
And with the proper guidance. But I think that most chefs, like, actually, I know, I'm not even going to say I assume or I think, I know 99% of chefs, we're not thinking that. I wasn't when I first started my business. I was like, listen, I know how to cook. I went to culinary school. I worked at the Ritz-Carlton 4 seasons, whatever. Here's my pedigree. If I just put myself out there, I should get some business. And you probably will, but you'll attract a lot of the cheapos because, again, your net is wide. You're not narrowing your brand. And that was my next point, is like, when you really dial in, and when we say dial in, that means like really refine, really get clarity. Again, like we've talked about this on the show, like as an airline pilot, as a newbie airline pilot, you would much rather land when it's like nice and clear skies than heavy thunderstorms and thick fog. Okay. So anytime there's lack of clarity, there brings confusion, there brings mistakes. You're not clear. And some of you guys that are listening to the show, that are on the show right now, you guys may be thinking, Chef, I'm still trying to get my bearings on what I want to be all about. And we understand that. Sometimes, like Brock said, even 3 weeks, sometimes it is a process for you to really kind of get those passions out and say, what do I want to focus on? However, it's the most important step. So we have 4 pillars in our method. And pillar number 1 is that foundation. And I always tell people when I'm on the phone with them, and I'm training right now, one of our success coaches to be able to success advisors to help people understand our method, so they know exactly like how we can help them. Pillar 1 is all about that launch pad, that foundation. It's almost 50% of your business, because once you're very clear on that, like Brock talked about, everything is built from that. Just like we talked about the foundation of the house, everything else is then built on top of that. And if anybody has noticed, when like a huge development is going up in their area, which that's going on crazy. Like I know that Chef Jared, welcome, Chef Corey, Chef Evelyn is on, Chef Eve, that's awesome. So excited for her to be on. When you're talking about this, Chef Jangle Leg,
I love
Jangle Leg, I like that.
What's up, man?
But when we're talking about this, if you guys have ever seen like new
Chef
construction Brown go up into your,
why you changed your name? I liked Jangle Leg personally.
No, is that Michael Brown? I don't know if that's Michael Brown. It might be. That's he's an awesome guy. Yeah. But it's a student of ours, if that is Michael Brown. But like I said, if you guys notice when developments go up, like you sometimes see bulldozers pushing dirt, and it's like a month later, okay, they're pushing a little more dirt. Then like another month after that, you're seeing like excavators, and another month after that, you're seeing like some people with cement, and it's like this 3-4 month process. Then all of a sudden, after the concrete's gone and the big bulldozers are gone,
it's up.
All of a sudden within 3 weeks, you're like, how the heck is the framing up already in the drywall? You're like, holy cow!
Like the whole thing,
because once that foundation is built, man, it's like, let's just build this freaking house. The painter, the framer comes in, flooring, plumbing, pipes, and all that. Yep. And again, it's because that foundation is the one that takes the most work.
Your business is like a hockey stick when you do it right? You set that foundation, and if we're talking in terms of relating it to kind of like scripture in a biblical way, you're planting a lot of seeds.
Oh yeah,
you're planting so many seeds, right? And seeds don't just sprout out of the ground right away. It doesn't just grow and you reap the harvest like right away. You're planting a lot of seeds, right? You're watering it, you're taking care of it, and then all of a sudden it goes like a hockey stick. It goes this way, and it's kind of like a little bit, and then you get to a certain point, and it's like you're sometimes some of these chefs you're struggling to keep up when
That's
they
true.
go through
when you do it the right way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. They end up reaching back out to us going, I can't keep up. Like,
how do I hire another chef?
How do I? Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that you guys have to understand, when you build the proper foundations, you'll get clarity, right? Which is so important. You get clarity. You get clear on what you want to do. You get clear on setting your goals even, but you get clear about what your business is all about. See, then it becomes easier for it to be like, well, you know what? I don't cook for people that have cancer. Not that you won't cook for them, but I'm saying I'm not like, you'll know, like, no, my niche is not
You're not trying to help
meal prep people. Exactly.
A disease
exactly.
Or something like that.
You're really just trying to say, how do I help them? But like, sometimes the way to help them is not to help them if that's not what you're all about, right? So if I sit here and I feel like, listen, we serve people that are celebrating anniversaries, birthdays, and dinner with a chef, right? So we're more about, again, that good time, that experience, more about those special occasions. So when somebody reaches out to us and say, hey, I just got out of the hospital, whatever, like, God forbid they're on hospice or something, it's not that we can't go cook for them, but that's not our specialty. That's not what we serve our clients. That's not what we focus on. And when we don't focus on that, we don't believe we're best to help them, right? What's awesome about the personal chef space as well is all of you guys have a God-given talent, a God-given passion to do what you feel like you were called to do. A lot of us are like, chef, I just feel like I was called to cook. Okay, but let's break that down. Why? What got you to do that? Like, I'll even just give you guys some of the brainstorming questions that I even teach in the program. Is like, why? Why did you fall? Like, what made you fall in love with cooking? What is we ask you very specific questions. What is it that you love about serving people? Right? Sometimes I talk to chefs about that, and they're like, honestly, I just love seeing their smiles. Or sometimes I've gotten some answers where it's like, chef, I just love it how they don't have to worry about anything, and they can just spend time with their family. We ask why a lot, because when you deep dive on those questions, again, you get to the root. You get to the root of where it's coming from. And that's what builds an amazing company, an amazing business, that you have focus and clarity on. Because if you don't have that, like for us in Chefpreneur, I'll use it as an example. Like, if you call us and want some advice on food trucks, like, can I give you some like high level business advice? Yeah, I don't want to, honestly, because I throw rocks at food trucks, and that idea of starting a restaurant or a food truck is just, don't do it. If you're thinking about doing it, don't do it. Be a chefpreneur and do a personal chef business anyway. But we're not gonna sit here and say, nope, you're actually not a good fit for our program. Like, we wouldn't, like, if you shouldn't invest in us unless we can show you, and you can have an epiphany or a revelation to say, like, okay, this business model doesn't do good. But we're not going to sit here and try to be everything to everybody, because that's not who we are.
Right.
And so when we stay focused, so just like that magnifying glass, like I use a lot of metaphors. Again, if you're new to the show, I use a lot of metaphors because metaphors explain things super, super clearly and simply and easy. And when you have a magnifying glass, just like when I was a kid, I know that we've actually done that together. We've actually done that together back in Canberra.
I've started a few fires.
It's probably not also very nice to little ants and stuff like that, but whatever, that's beside the point. But let's say, you have that magnifying glass, right? We all know that trick that when you, like, it's a sunny day, you're out there. I mean, when I was a kid, it was kind of dangerous because, like, you can literally burn yourself, right? But I would take a magnifying glass, right? And again, you hold it up in the sun like this, it doesn't do anything. Like, you're like, oh, look, the sun. But when you take it and you angle it towards the sun, you angle it down, you keep angling it, and you see that that light get tighter and tighter and tighter, and you're focusing, there's a lot of energy to start a piece of paper on fire.
Yep.
Right? That's how you should be in your business. You simplify things, you refine things. So again, if you're sitting there thinking, chef, I'm a very talented cook, I can cook a lot of things for a lot of people, that may be true on your skill side, but what is it that you want to do? You got to keep focusing down. Like I said, you can maybe do some great things, but what is really feel like, what do you really feel that God is putting in, be like, all right, this is really what I want to do. Like, this is how I want to serve people the best. And again, we teach, I'm going to give you another little freebie here. We teach you, like, sometimes it's not cuisine. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's the type of cuisine that you serve, and you really narrow into that. But a lot of times it's usually a mixture of the three. It's like your cuisine. It could also be the kind of community or the type of people you serve, right? So you might say, again, going back to that, I serve people that are celebrating special occasions. I serve people that are elderly that just got out of the hospital. So you can different things that you can do. And then last but not least is like, what kind of experience? Maybe you're into like a very different kind of experience. And I'm going to kind of say like, um, you know, maybe like almost doing like a teppanyaki, or maybe if you're doing something where, for instance, Chef Gregory, one of our proteges from the Artisan Chefs, right? He's all about open fire cooking. So he has a wood fire grill, he has a wood fire oven, right? That's very specific on the style of cooking, right? Now, can he cook something in an oven inside of a house? Yes, but he wants to be known for that wood fired artisan flair.
And he's wanting to bring that element of like Tuscan to
correct, which has that very natural,
creates a family,
open, fiery feel.
Very family, very open experience.
And so when people see that, again, in your brand, right? Like Nike, I don't think they do, but I don't think they make high heel pumps. That's not what they do. They make usually sports shoes. They make, whatever.
Unless it's to do some kind of like PR gig or something like that.
Yeah, who knows?
But they're not out there selling them.
Exactly. Like will Chick-fil-A ever serve a hamburger? I don't think so.
It would go against their whole entire.
Well, they would have to take down every sign,
every billboard
of all the cows that say eat more chicken, right? So like, again, but they focused in on that. That's what they did. They focused in. They became clear. They became focused. Charlie's on right now, and like we were talking about Charlie earlier, he's actually on. Thanks for joining the show, Charlie. But Charlie was talking about that, like, Charlie is pretty much almost I'm gonna declare he's a world-class tennis player. So is he probably like strong enough and athletic enough? I don't even know the other sports that he can play, but he spends a lot of time focusing on tennis, right? So his energy, his focus, he's zooming in with that magnifying glass, boom, to become an amazing tennis player. And what he does is he's actually was telling me about hiring, changed his life. He hired a coach for his mindset. We talk about mindset all the time. But he got a coach on my, and he says, man, it's like, it was a big investment for him. But he says all of a sudden he started seeing himself winning these crazy tournaments. And I'm thinking like, well, and he said, because it was just like, he helped me beat that game up here.
A lot of high level athletes talk about that too. The high level athletes, they say you have
and that's part of the foundation.
You have to visualize the win before you even play the game. Like you have to visualize that win.
Exactly.
So that you're stepping into it with that faith, with the confidence, everything. There's something you mentioned earlier that I want to glorify God just a bit in how he built our community, the Chefpreneur community. It's pretty amazing. You said something earlier that really stood out, and it's something that I do these personalized welcome videos for everybody who enrolls into our group coaching program, Accelerator. They get a personalized welcome video from me, and I welcome them into the program. And one of the things I say is, hey, when you get into our private community, which is only for those students who are enrolled with us, it's not our open Facebook group. Yeah, it's an accelerator. It's a small group. And I say, when you introduce yourself, say where you're located from. And the reason for that is because there's chefpreneurs that end up getting together because they're closely together.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that you mentioned earlier was when you know who you are, you're not going to be serving everybody. You're not going to be serving. You might not be the person who's trying to cure a disease with your food, but you're going to know a chefpreneur who does. That's like their specialty. And what I always let them know on the video is I say, do it that way. So that way, if a chefpreneur is near you, you guys can know each other. There's going to be moments where a client comes to them and says, hey, I would really like to do this and that. And you're going to go, that's not really what I do. That's not really, but you know what? I'm going to get you connected with a chefpreneur who I know that is specifically what they do, and they're going to be able to do such an awesome thing for you. So let me get you connected with them. And you start to work off each other. Now I'm glorifying God through this and glorifying our community, which God called us to create, is because that is so much different than anything else that you experience with any of these groups and within the industry itself.
Yeah.
It's so dog eat dog. But when we all have that clarity as a chefpreneur in what our business does, and we approach it with what we call like it's like a unique, our unique selling proposition is technically the term, but it's your uniqueness that you bring to the table for your clients. You are serving a specific client with maybe some more particular types of cuisines with a specific dining experience. You are a personality of your business. When you build a really fantastic brand that, like you're saying, has the clarity and it's really focused, then your brand portrays a personality, and clients of yours are going to be attracted to you, to your personality, to your brand's personality, that it doesn't matter if another chef in the area does pretty much what you do. As a chefpreneur, you have all these foundational elements in place to where the client feels it through and through, no matter if they just see your brand or when they interact with you on the phone, or when they're getting the food that you're cooking in their home and experiencing you as a person. We have all these things that we go through with the mindset, with everything, so that what you bring to the table is more than food. You bring your whole self and your past, everything that has driven your passion to do what you do. You bring that to every event. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes a chefpreneur. And that's what differentiates you as a chefpreneur and this whole movement and everything we're doing as a whole to anything else out there.
Yeah. And I love how you said it. It's basically like, man, you said that really well. I don't even know if I can even add to that, but like the building blocks, as we're talking about the foundation, as you're talking about the uniqueness and all that stuff, again, going through the process of discovering all that is huge. Like,
oh, big time.
If you would sit down with an executive from a major company, you have no idea the millions of dollars they spend. You probably think, oh, they just spend millions of dollars on, getting this athlete to be a spokesperson for them. Yeah, they pay them a lot of money, but I bet you they pay even more money to consultants to say, get us deeper into our customer's brain. Like, get us deeper in so that we can shift our ads and our brands and the colors they see to match. I'm going to say something that I've noticed. I've never heard anybody say this. I could be maybe not even communicating this well. I hope, Father God, that you're going to allow me to communicate this. A really good brand. Notice I'm using the word brand. We already talked about this. A website is not just a brand. It's part of the brand. Okay, the brand is everything. The messaging, the words, the colors, the logo, the icons, the pictures, but the feeling, everything. It's everything invoked. I believe the best brands in the world, the reason why the best brands in the world are so identifiable, they're like, well, no, it's just because we see them a lot. Yeah, that's part of it. The psychological aspect of seeing Coca-Cola everywhere, Pepsi-Cola everywhere, Chick-fil-A everywhere. Yes, there's a psychological aspect where we see these brands, we recognize them. But if those brands were all over the place, and sometimes the restaurant's green, and sometimes it's orange, and sometimes it's blue and red, it actually wouldn't be not even near, in my opinion, as successful as it is now, unless that was part of that brand identity, which would be really weird. That'd be kind of an offsuit. Let's try something and see if it's kind of funky and see if it sticks. But the reason I'm saying that is most brands, and again, I don't know if you would agree with me on this, Brock, or anybody else listening to this, brands that are really, really, really dialed in, focused, and really, really dialed in and focused, they're so attractive because your brain, it's almost like you see them and instantly you just get it. You almost get it and it feels easy. Like if you would relate your eyesight to seeing something and your brain having to process something, really good brands have an easy way of understanding the process. And I'm going to prove this to you as well, how it all, again, builds on the foundation. It doesn't just happen. Like it doesn't happen. If you look at Apple, as Brock was talking about before, if you see a billboard for them and it just shows a picture of the iPhone 15 or whatever iPhone we're at now. I don't know. Pretty soon it's going to be like iPhone 1000. I don't know.
Yep.
But whatever, right? Like that's all it says. That's all it says because their brand, that is their message. People know what Apple is and like, yeah, but that's because of years. No, that was very intentional from the beginning when they started putting out campaigns on getting you to understand that they're a tech company. So you always see that almost like, again, you guys probably even thinking about this. You just know when you see that gradient black or that gradient gray or that very crisp, clean.
So I'm going to use an example. You talk about metaphors. Now, if you look at the laptop, like I got a little logo down here, you know that for Apple, Apple's got the Apple logo right in the middle, right?
Yep.
There was this huge debate within the company that they had to figure out which way is the Apple symbol going to go. Is it going to face the person who's using the laptop because that's their client, right? That's the person who invested with them. Are they going to have that logo facing them when the lid's down, right? And that way, when the lid's up, it's going to be upside down. Or are they going to flip it around so it's upside down when they close the lid, but right side up when it's open? And now the debate could be, well, it's our client, right? Like we want the client to experience Apple because they're the ones that paid for the computer. Of course, we should be speaking to them, so it should be directed at them. That could be one side of the argument. But like you said, if you really dive into what is it your client really wants, what is it that an Apple person really wants? Well, at the core of it, whether they want to admit it or not, Apple has become a symbol, a status. It's status. It's I own an Apple, right? I am a part of one of those individuals, and you maybe some of you know the iconic commercial that Apple did with the throwing of the hammer that was based on Big Brother and everything, and Apple was there to it was there to break the mold. Apple was for the rebels, right, of their time, to be more advanced, to be creative. And Apple directs a lot of their stuff towards people who are creative. That's why they have all their editing capabilities, and their computers are pumped up with lots of memory and juice and everything. Well, they realized that, and they dove into their psyche of the client. The client would much rather the logo face somebody to say, this is
my status. Yeah.
This is my status. It's my Apple computer. So plus the person who's seeing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Immediately recognizes it. It's not upside down. They immediately recognize it. And that actually spreads the message. And Apple has obviously a huge community, a huge cult following.
Yeah.
That way, when every new iPhone comes out, you've got lines out the door, because that is also now a part of kind of their brand and their culture, is that it's not silly to them to stand outside the line. It is an experience to stand in that line.
And I'll be honest, Brock, I think that's like level 100 of layers of the brand, which again, going back to that's why these corporations spend millions of dollars figuring that out.
Correct.
Right. So that's still a foundational principle, but they've never lost sight. Right. So even though now it's a status symbol because, of how many years they've been around, it's not because of that. It's because they've stayed with the same foundation, the core, for so long.
But they've also did not ignore such a little detail like that, where it's like, we want to put effort.
Correct.
We're going to put effort into every little detail of the business. It doesn't matter. And that's what you guys need to do, is you need to put effort into those small details. Whereas, and you can speak to this more than anybody, is that there's so many students who come through and they don't realize that, listen, like, your emails need to be polished. The way you talk to your clients need to be polished. You need to put effort into how you respond to your clients, and not just, okay, great, sounds good. Like, you're not talking to a friend. You're not talking to a family member. You're talking to a client. You need to go above and beyond. That is also a part of your brand and a part of those foundations. If you don't got that right, and the way that you talk to a client is just kind of like, it's like you're shorthand texting, it's not going to end well.
Well, it matches up. It actually matches up, like you're saying. I matches up with, again, the foundations of the brand. And what I was saying even about Apple is, like, you see these ads and there's always like a gradient color, gray, black, white. They use, I'm not saying they don't have colors and stuff. It actually, that kind of fell. They used to make those Macs with the back end of the covers, and like nobody liked them. Why? Because it got away from brand. If you look at I'm going to look at a billboard for a minute. If you look at a billboard of an Apple, like we talked about, you see a phone, you see iPhone, whatever, there's usually some gradient black, some gradient something. Why is it gradient? Well, you think of technology, you think of precision, because it looks like metal, it looks like graphic, or graphite, whatever you call it. It looks very clean, very technology. People already know that they want the iPhone 13, and Brock is right. It's a status symbol. On top of, why is it a status symbol though? Again, if we ask that question, why, dive deeper, it's like, well, not only does it raise my status, but I feel like, well, the smart people use Mac. and you know, the successful people use it, like, but it's still going back to even the core foundations of the rebels, right? The people who are thinking outside the box. Again, you have people that buy things for different reasons, but at the core of that. Now, let me go back to Chick-fil-A and their famous billboards that you see, where you see like a cow helping another cow up. They're misspelling "eat more chicken" on purpose because they're a cow. They don't know how to spell, and it's white, right? Yep. Think about that. Let's just look at that incredibly detailed. I want to look at this. One, very clean, very precision. I keep getting the word precision, clean, digital, tech, nice and neat, simple, big icons. Use the phone, smart, sophisticated. Chick-fil-A, playful, fun, wholesome, because you're talking about dairy cows or cows, black and white cows, right? White, red, eat more chicken misspelled, funny, laughter, good times, cordial, right? Very different emotions that are evoking when you see just the images without the words, just the images themselves. The thing is that I'm saying about that is, like, you look at Chuck E. Cheese. I used this on my coaching call the other day. Chuck E. Cheese, like, Chuck E. Cheese uses what? Orange, yellow, purple, right? They have a big scary mouse, but that's a rat, whatever. That's another point. But think about that. They're not advertising to 90-year-old people in hospice, with all due respect to anybody who's in hospice. They're advertising to people who have young kids, to kids themselves, 10, 11, whatever. They want to go have a birthday party there, want to play video games, fun, vibrant. You know, they've rebranded since then, but they didn't go a lot away from their core. They can't, because there's a foundation there. So again, it's like the design makes a difference. The design of these billboards, the design of the colors, all that makes a huge difference, but we don't know any of that until we know who we're serving, what we want to be known for. Like Brock said, what is our unique factor? And all these perceptions become the perception of what you want to give people. Believe it or not, the marketing starts the minute they see anything from you, right? So again, if you walk, like, think about that. If I'm not saying that you wouldn't have this, but it'd be really weird if you walked into a Chick-fil-A and everything was like dark and dark gray and black and clean, and like the people were wearing like button down black shirts that are like tight and sleek, and like slicked back hair with like their smart glasses. You know, I call them smart glasses, the people that wear like those thick frame glasses, like, and then welcome to Chick-fil-A, and then you're getting a chicken and be like, is this prison? This is weird. But you walk into an Apple store, it's like glass, it's tech, it's clean, polos, right? People are there. You got all these beautiful, huge LED panels that are showing off their clean products with very clean images. So again, it's all invoking. So the website is a big piece of you to, yes, put out to the world. But again, we can't even start with that unless we know, what are we trying to accomplish with this? What are we going to try to convey as a feeling, as an emotion, or a brand? And that really starts with you. Like Brock said, you are the image of your brand. So unfortunately, like Dave, not unfortunately, but it's fortunately and unfortunately sometimes, Dave Ramsey said a long time ago, I'm a huge entrepreneurship fan. And he said a long time ago, like, the founder, the business strengths are usually going to be very parallel to the founder's strengths. And the business, you know, until you really get leadership right and understand all these things, the weaknesses of the founder are also going to sometimes be in the business as well, right? Again, then that's where he's like, you hire entre leaders and you hire them smart, and then you people that are your weaknesses. But the founder always has this, because if you look at the founder of Chick-fil-A, that's actually a perfect example. You look at the founder of Chick-fil-A, Esther Cathy, a good old boy from Georgia, just down, humble guy, loves Jesus, loved God, one of the most generous men that ever probably lived. I mean, people talk about his generosity like crazy, but just a very simple, humble guy, family oriented, loves his grand. I mean, he used to have, give a lot of charity to a lot of orphanages and stuff, and they used to call him grandpa, right? So very family oriented. When you walk into Chick-fil-A, why do you feel like you're part of a family? Why do you feel why do you feel love, from like almost like a family love? Like, you walk into McDonald's, it's all about money. I hate to say it, but you go watch the founder, Ray Kroc. Like, this guy wanted money. He was smart.
And look at how McDonald's has changed over the years. It used to be all geared towards kids.
Yeah.
Now it's all modernized.
It's all modernized. It's like all this. And honestly, they're failing big time, but I don't even get into that. There's a lot of things that are going wrong over there at the McDonald's land. Okay, you look at Apple, Steve Jobs. Friggin' wanted to change the world, which he did. pushes this team super hard for technology, wants to be at the forefront of everything. That sounds like Apple. Their imagery matches up with that. Not only their imagery, their messaging matches up with that. Their whole brand. So it's pretty awesome. But the foundations are so important. Basically, to wrap it up, your foundations are so important. And again, I'm not trying to scare you. If you're out there and you're trying to do your business and you're like, you know what, Chef, like I really want help with this stuff. And I'm just trying to kind of learn on YouTube. I'm learning from you guys, but I'm also learning from other people. And I got this guy locally that's building my website and all this stuff. I don't want to scare you, but most website designers, more even graphic designers, like sometimes they don't know messaging. If it hit them in the face, they're not marketers. They're not looking at it from a marketing standpoint. They're not looking at it from a sales standpoint. They're not looking at the psychology of it and what emotional. I mean, if you find one, like it's rare. To be honest,
they're gonna most times they're gonna find a template that they use that works for another website they did, but that website was for makeup sales.
It's based on design
or a tanning bed,
and it's like, based on
the design, it looks great, and you think that we can apply this to your business, and then you apply it and you're like, why isn't it working?
Yeah, exactly. You get a really beautiful website and it'll be crickets. Nobody's even gonna freaking contact you. We've seen it so much. So honestly, I'm gonna just be very candid with you. Like, if you want to like not have a crappy brand and you want to learn foundations, like reach out to us. We'd love to help you, get you in our program, right? And actually take you through the process. And then down the road, honestly, like we do have an option where we could build out your whole brand for you. But I at least want to have you start with building that foundations, because you can't even get someone to do this stuff unless you have that. And most chefs don't even think about that. They sit there and they think, I can cook, I have this on my resume, and all those things are great. Again, skill set is great. Skills pay the bills. I get it. But in a business, in this business, let me say it that way. In this particular business, your skills of cooking will not fully pay the bills. You have to have skills in other areas, which is, how do I learn how to speak to clients? How do I learn how to know that they buy with emotion? How do I know how to write messaging that's going to attract the right person that's going to hire me and why they're going to hire me? And without a coach, it's really hard to figure those things out. Right. And so again, the age old is so funny. The age old question that I not an age old question, but I was listening to a podcast. They were interviewing Dave Ramsey again. And he was saying, one of the things about small businesses is that you usually have a very skilled person in an industry. He actually used particularly somebody, I think, that was going through helping, he's helping them kind of build up their mission and their values and their culture. But this guy basically he was using this example of a plumber. And it's actually true. I actually tested this. I had a guy, in San Diego changing out our water heater. And if my wife knows, and she's on here, like, I like to talk to people. So I like to get in their head and kind of get a little idea. I was out in the garage doing a call, and then I got off the phone. He was sitting there doing, putting in our new water heater. And it's so funny because I tested exactly what Dave Ramsey said. And it was true. He's like, you'll have a plumber that's super skilled at the plumbing. Like, he knows the plumbing. He can plumb the whole house. He can put the piping in. He can do all that stuff, right? Certified guy, all that. And you'll find some of these guys that are occasionally like, I want to start my own thing because, the company, I see the invoice, they're charging $85 per hour, labor for me, and they're paying me $28 an hour. It's like, man, like I should be making the $80. And that's their thought process. So what do? They get brave enough without a coach, without even learning anything. They get brave enough to go out and start their own business. And Dave Ramsey said, just like this one guy, he went out, started his own business. And he says, listen, he got some work and some contracts, and he went out and did stuff for local people, was passing out his business card locally and all that stuff. The problem is that his business started to tank because guess what? He didn't know the marketing. He didn't know how to sell. He didn't know how to do proper processes. He didn't know how to do his own accounting, his systems, books, his payroll, his everything. Mm-hmm. So people will just automatically assume, well, because I'm the one doing all the work, when you're not, you're basically, your skill set is plumbing. This is basically what Dave Ramsey was saying. Like, he's an expert stepping in his own business. He has 7 other jobs to do. And he doesn't realize that gap from $28 to $85 in the cost per labor, that gap pays for all those other 6 jobs that he doesn't know how to do. Right. And so again, those foundations. So with you as chefs, it's not just about the cooking. We actually teach us like 20% or less. And it's about the experience, but the experience doesn't just mean the experience at their house either. The experience is the whole thing. Again, when they see the brand, the visual, like adding value to their life by speaking to them properly through your brand messaging, through your foundations, really getting clear and dialed in. So here's what I'm going to do. If you guys really want us to help you possibly, really get clear on the foundations of your business, we know we can, which just that alone just is like, it just lifts this like 100-pound bag of potatoes off your shoulders to just be like, oh my God, I'm clear now about what I want to do and what my business is all about. It really takes you in a huge step direction to be like, now I understand what I'm building. When I understand why I'm doing this, now I understand who I'm serving. Now I understand what I'm going to price and charge. Now I understand what services I'm going to provide. And now all of a sudden you get more clarity. And then as you go through, we're teaching you the sales and we're teaching you all those other skills that you need as an entrepreneur, aka chefpreneur. So if you guys are interested, we can you can schedule a free clarity call. Again, going back to being clear, you can schedule a free clarity call by clicking the link in the description, and it's completely free. There's no commitment. We just want to give you some clarity on where you are, getting clear about what you want to accomplish, getting clear about this opportunity, assessing where you are. If you already have a business, what can we do to help you? If you're like, I want to start this business, but I don't want to be like that plumber that just quits his job and he only knows how to plumb, and all of a sudden, like over the course of time, you just his whole little small company just tanks. Yep. Not because he can't fix a pipe or fix a leaky pipe, or he can't put in pipes. So book that call with us. We'd love to talk to you. But that's why foundations, again, are so important. We have to build the business with proper foundations. And it took us over 10 years to know and be the experts in building a personal chef company that has solid foundations. And now we've helped over hundreds of chefs discover these. In fact, our next challenge is going to be at the beginning of June. We'll have the official dates out soon. But even in that challenge, you guys can sign up for the wait list if you go to chefpreneurchallenge.com. We have a wait. We do a lot of those. We don't do the whole foundation, but we help you with a good couple really big keys of that foundation too, because again, we want to help you, and we actually want to kind of bring you in and be like, hey, we thought you were just going to find more clients, which we will teach you that, by the way. But we'll take you through the process of like, well, you got to first figure some of this stuff out. So Brock, do you have anything else to add before we
just if you're on our email list, one way that is really extremely helpful in order for us to continue making the challenge even better, because we're always looking to improve the challenge, making it better and better and better. That's from what time of day that it is to the reason you came to the challenge, so that we can try to help you as much as possible and figure out what are people really looking for, what are they struggling with, everything in between. There's a really simple, short, it's like a 2-minute survey, literally 2 minutes. But I sent it to you guys. If you're on our list, I sent that out. Please, please, please just take a couple minutes to fill that out. Help us to make the challenge even better, so that we can find out like what it is that you're really needing, and that we can constantly tweak it and bring new,
we just want to help you the best
exciting
we can.
information to you, and just help out during those challenges, because we're limited on the time. So if we can make little tweaks that help you guys, and we start to see a pattern of things that people are experiencing, or things that they need help with, like, we're here to tackle that. We're here to address that. So
and that's exactly
it for me.
So
that's the only thing.
I think that's it for us. I think we've been really, I think it was a very productive show. I think that hopefully you guys got some good value out of it. We can't stress enough, how, again, important the foundations are. Brock sent out that survey. If you are on our email list, again, you can, if you sign up for this, you'll be on our email list, but he already sent it out. But again, or
on our email list as a registered, if you've registered,
if you register for something for us and you get emails from us, and
it would make sense for me to send it to you if you've never been in a challenge.
That's true. Very
so
true.
if you've been in a challenge previously, you should
have received it. Yes, correct. And but we just want to help you more. We just want to know how we can help you more. And so schedule that clarity call with us. We'd love to talk to you and give you some value there, and helping you clear on this stuff. So Jennifer, you can go ahead and right here in the description of the video, there's a link to it. Actually, I don't know if we're able to, I don't know if we have that pulled up anywhere, but yeah, you guys, there's right here in the description, there just says, there's like a little link there at the very top. It says, want us to help you build,
it's a
help
bit.ly,
you build
bit.ly link, Chefpreneur Clarity Call.
Yep. So, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Go ahead and you guys will see that. And, Yeah, great show today, Brock.
Yeah.
We brought it. It was good. Hope you guys had a lot of good nuggets from this. You know, we want to kind of bring value. Don't forget, guys, guys and gals, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, right? Help us in the algorithm. Help us help out more chefs. Like Brock was saying, you guys all have your own specifics, right? That's what's amazing about the Chefpreneur movement is we're a family where we really are a great community that care about each other. And it's because most of us, God didn't call us to do the exact same thing. So we're all differentiating. So, man, it's just awesome to see you guys again come together as a community. But make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that bell for notification. So when we do go live, you get notified. I can't stress that enough. And I think down the road, we're going to start to do some raffles here on the show.
We're going to start doing some giveaways.
Oh, yeah. Show them the box. Show them the box.
So we're going to be sending out a couple knives here soon. Winners from the challenge. So if you haven't been a part of our challenge, you can join. And we got these sweet boxes that we've had. We actually use these for a retreat.
Yeah.
And it says
change lives, revolutionize the industry.
Revolutionize the industry. That's you guys. That's the community.
You guys.
That's what all chefpreneurs are doing right now. So we're going to be packaging up some awesome knives, and we're thinking about we were talking about doing some giveaways on the show. So keep showing up.
Keep showing up. Eventually, we're also going to be replenishing our Chefpreneur Show. A lot of people want t-shirts and swag and all that. Yep. And we're going to be getting that up and running very soon. Our stores are going to be coming back. And we're going to be promoting that on the show as well. And possibly if you buy some swag from us, we might just do like a raffle, like every item that you buy from us will be a raffle ticket. Yeah. And we want to give away some really cool prizes just for being on the show. We just love for you guys to connect with us. And, but anyway, God bless you guys. Have a great rest of your Wednesday and a great rest of your week. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Cheers, guys.
Live at 5. We'll see you then.